So, as a young child, I never grew up thinking, when I grow up, I want to be an advocate. I don't remember what my career aspirations actually were, but I do recall getting a D in penmanship in first grade. You see, my teacher in Catholic school wanted me to hold the pencil in a certain way. I rebelled, and she gave me a horrible grade. When I went home that day, I remember my mother was so livid because I was always a very good student, A's and B's, but here's this glaring D on my report card. And she said, that I was going to be in trouble, and she read me the whole list of the rules that I'd broken. And I said, "Mom, most doctors have terrible handwriting. A D in penmanship might just mean I'm going to be a doctor." And well, she must have enjoyed my sense of humor because she laughed, and I truly do not remember getting punished for that terrible grade. And while, I never ended up going to medical school, I have found a passion that ensures that I will save lives. It also requires me to home in on my inner rebelliousness. Like I said before, I'm an advocate. I don't often say that phrase aloud, but it's absolutely true. I am an advocate. I advocate for others, I advocate for myself, and I likely still hold my pencil the improper way, but I sure know how to use my words powerfully. I never really wanted to be an advocate. It's never an aspiration that I've had. But I think back to all the advocates and the activists that happened before me. I imagine their stories might also be similar. Do I think that Mahatma Gandhi ever wanted to advocate for Indian rights under the British rule? Or did he witness too much oppression until he finally decided that he had to use his voice to speak out against the inequality that he saw day in and day out? Did Susan B. Anthony want to be an advocate for women's rights? Or did she become a teacher, witness some pretty severe inequality, and decide that she couldn't stand by silent any longer? I'll give you a hint. It was the latter. Like advocates who came before me, I too experienced a moment in my life where I said, whoa, something isn't right here, and I need to start using my voice to make a change. And that experience was domestic abuse and the civil family court system. At first, I thought if I just told my story, I would be supported, protected, my children would be kept safe, I would be kept safe. But I had no idea of the reality of the family court system in America, and I was absolutely shocked. I left my abuser in March of 2019, which we're coming up on 5 years very soon, and I'm proud of that. After fleeing our marital home, thinking that he was going to kill me as he was threatening me with a gun, I was able to obtain a temporary restraining order. After telling my story over and over again, despite not wanting to, I was finally able to obtain a year-long restraining order. And while I'm not sure that piece of paper saved my life, I do know that the removal of the guns that came along with that order absolutely did. At that point, I wanted to think that my story of abuse was over. I get to live my life free from everyday eggshell walking, gaslighting, vitriol, sadness, shame, guilt. But as of the advocate for domestic violence victims across the state, I began to see an undeniable pattern in our family court system. I began to learn about a phrase called parental alienation that happens in cases across the globe. And I've even read the UN's special report on the matter. It won't happen to me, I said, until it did. You see, in 2001, my daughter disclosed abuse to her therapist. Her father hurt her. She explained the situation, and her therapist called DCF as a mandated reporter. I never imagined in my life that I would be one of those families that had a child admitting abuse. But how could I not take it seriously with the behaviors that I'd seen coming from the same person? The case was opened, and guess what happened? He blamed me and he took me back to court saying that he is just a loving, caring father, and the only reason his children fear him is because of me. Let's not forget that while we all lived under one roof, there were several times that I had to take my children in my arms and run behind a door, lock us, and call for help as he threatened my life. Let's also not forget that those same children had been in my arms as babies as their father threatened to physically harm me and called me awful names. Let's not also forget about the time that I had to run barefoot down my driveway holding my 6-month-old son as their father chased me with his SUV trying to hit me. But according to him, their fear is my fault. He takes no accountability for hurting me, for hurting his daughter, for scaring his children. It's simply my fault because he's such a wonderful guy. And guess what? The court believed him. They blamed me for my children's fear. I am a parental alienator. The only way my children will be able to have a loving and caring relationship with their father is to spend more time with him. Spending time with me is actually harmful to them. Their fear has nothing to do with what they are subjected to when they are with him. It all has to do with me. It's my fault. I was naive. Knowing everything I knew going into it, I still thought that it couldn't happen to me. I thought justice would prevail. I thought my children's safety would be kept paramount. But the family court system chose to continue to gaslight me, to tell me that it's all my fault, and to praise the person who did this to me and my family. They even stated that his nasty emails to me are my fault as well. If I just learned to respond quicker and better to his vitriol, he would just be nicer to me. It's my fault. So today, I stand here moved enough by the lack of justice for children in abusive homes. I stand here ready to shed light on the dark of the family court industry. If we do not put our children's rights ahead of the people who harm them, what kind of society are we? How can we treat children as though they are some sort of collateral damage in a bigger picture that we just don't understand? How can we treat children as though they are an asset to divide? They are living, breathing people. Why does their brain development not matter? How can we claim to be the home of the free, the home of the brave, when the people who seek their freedom with bravery are forced into abusive relationships with harmful people? I will no longer stand by silently while children are harmed. I have several meetings with legislators around my state to work toward family court reform. When children witness abuse, fear and anxiety is a natural byproduct. Forcing more time with the person who perpetuates that environment is not the answer. From here on out, I am an advocate. I will not shut my mouth until this situation is changed. I will be loud. I will speak my mind to anyone who will listen. And I will use the gifts that I have been given to fight this fight. I will make these changes, not for me, but for the children who are put in these unfair situations. It's always about the children.